nice to see you again. Or if you're new here, welcome to Everything Elle, where I talk about mainly books, but sometimes other stuff too. And we're back. You're back again. Are you
back to back?
Today we are here to do the Try a Chapter challenge, and I'm pretty sure this is an old challenge. I haven't seen anyone do it recently. The gist of the challenge is to read a chapter of a book and then kind of figure out which book is what you like. I don't think it's like an official challenge or tag or anything, but I thought it would be more fun if I had my fiance read the first chapter of the books. Definitely was not something that was fun for him. He is not a book reader at all, so I'm sorry for that, but you're a trooper, boo.
Not bad.
No?
It's torture. I can't imagine someone sits down and says, you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to read a book.
You just insulted all 420 of my subscribers. That's what we do for fun. That's literally our personality. He just came for all of us. So I tried my best to get like a variety of genres. I picked 5 books. I tried to make them all just a little bit different just to see what you like, you know? Like maybe we're gonna find a book that's gonna make you a bookworm, so.
Maybe, and I don't know.
First up, he read A Court of Thorns and Roses, our favorite smutty fae book by Sarah J. Maas. You have heard me read to you a few of the smuttier scenes of this book. I will link that up in the cards if you haven't checked it out. I think it's hilarious. I love making him uncomfortable. Anyways, what were your thoughts on A Court of Thorns and Roses?
Not bad. I know what it gets into.
Yeah.
So I know sort of what to expect, but I mean, it wasn't bad. I feel like I'm okay with I like the whole independent character, I get things done type
of thing. So Feyre made an impression on you in this first chapter.
Pretty cool dude.
Could you, like, predict from the first chapter, like, what's gonna happen? Or do you think it was just, like, a very slow introduction?
I mean, I know what happens, so that's not fair,
Okay,
But she's definitely the protagonist, and there's a lot of development going on with her.
Next, I also had him check out Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This is like a historical fiction mystery book, whereas A Court of Thorns and Roses was a fantasy book. You're really close to me right now.
I'm just trying to...
Like, wow. You just all of a sudden just bam. Anyways, as I was saying, this is a historical fiction, so a different genre than A Court of Thorns and Roses. What was your first impression based on the first chapter?
That is probably the book that I would pursue.
Really?
Yeah. Out of all 5, that's the one I would want to read.
Really? What about the first chapter grabbed you?
It's kind of like, it's got a hook of a first chapter. It's like, this girl's trying to become a mortician. Mm-hmm. Her uncle's, he's...
The mortician,
Yeah. He's taking her under her wing in the first chapter, but it's like in secrecy a little bit. Very gruesome. I've never imagined somebody breaking some ribs open, other than barbecue ribs.
Next, he read A House of Salt and Sorrows, and this is a paranormal type book is what I would describe it as. I'm not super clear on paranormal and then fantasy, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is more paranormal.
It had paranormal activity vibes.
Yeah. At the beginning, you definitely get a lot of paranormal, and then towards the end, it's like, I don't know if this is paranormal or if it's fantasy. But regardless, you read the first chapter. What were your thoughts on the first chapter?
Kind of foreshadowing with the whole, I had 12 sisters, there's only me and 6 others.
You weren't feeling it?
I've never been a huge person for pirate or ship voyages or sea voyages or anything. It's just like, meh. I would probably read it, but it's like, oh, I'm not the favorite daughter. Sorry. I don't know, just meh.
Where did you get Sea Voyage?
Weren't they on a ship?
No. I mean, they're on an island. It's definitely a very, like, water-based, ocean-based
But everything they believe in is kind of... From the first chapter, I got, like, everything is... You live by the sea, you die by the sea. And I'm just like, man, I'm not just...
You don't want to die by the sea?
I'm not interested in the sea. It's just a big Just a big ocean, big sea, you know, it's like, meh.
And then I picked up Vicious by V.E. Schwab. And this is a sci-fi book. I don't know if you get a lot of it from the first chapter or not, but this is a sci-fi. And as you were reading it, you kind of seemed a little bit confused about things. So what is your first impression on the first chapter?
I think they're in hell, or their own version of hell, or he is the devil of some sort. Because it's like, we gotta keep digging graves, and we gotta get home, and blah, 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 and it's like, but she died. It got my attention. Maybe that would be like my number 2 or number 3
Yeah.
on the list, yeah.
So the thing with Vicious is that it's told in like alternating points of view in like present and past. So because the first chapter starts off on what's happening right now, like you don't get the full picture of what had happened, because the next chapter is like going back. So it alternates between like, this is what's happening right now, this is what happened to get to this point.
Yeah, it was like, wait, what? Like, I wanted to read a little more, but it's not like... That would be my number 3.
And then I had to sprinkle in some contemporary, you know, some true romance in there. And I thought, what better book than my favorite book of 2020? You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. You've heard me rave about this book. You've all heard me rave about this book. So I figured, why not give him a little taste of this book that I love and adore? Like, disclaimer, he did read the prologue, not necessarily the first chapter. I didn't want to make him read the prologue and the first chapter because this was the last book he read and he was just not having a good time. So I just had him read the prologue and then about like the first paragraph of chapter 1. Give me your full thoughts.
My full thoughts.
And careful with your words, because if you come for this book, I will come for your throat.
That would be my number 2 book.
Really?
Yeah. It wouldn't be my number 1, but it would be my number 2 book.
Are you just saying that
no,
so I don't
I'm
murder
dead
you?
serious. Like, they used some pretty good imagery, and it brought back butterflies. Like, our first date, I was like, that's cute. Like, and it's like, the things they mention, it's like, yeah, that's something I would remember, you know? Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent book.
Based on the prologue.
Based off the cover, though, I would never pick it up. I would never be like,
It's very definitely, like, catered towards female readers.
It's a lovey book, and that's not something I would go for.
And now your final rankings. Starting at the 5th book, like it's just like, this book I'm not interested in, I'm not gonna pick up.
That would be The House of Salt and Sorrows.
Really? That was a really popular book.
Not for me. Maybe if I would have read a little more, but off the first chapter, I'm like, my sister died, we're at a funeral. It's like, to me, I don't know.
Really?
I feel like a lot of movies start off like that, like in a funeral, this is my story. Didn't do anything for me.
Not for him. Not for him. Okay, so then what book would you place at number 4 then?
Number 4 for sure. Just because the other ones are better, it would be A Court of Thorns and Roses.
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
It wasn't a bad book, but there were better books in the stack.
Okay, I can see that.
At number 3, I would put Vicious. Vicious for sure. Just because there are better books, but that wasn't a bad one. I would give it an extra couple chapters.
Oh, nice. I like that. Nice. And then second place?
That would be You Deserve Each Other.
So,
unbiased. 100% unbiased.
Yeah, so his own opinions, thoughts, you know.
Like for realsies.
If you haven't read this book yet, like, what are you doing? Which means in first place, the book that my fiance, Mr. I Don't Read, Mr. Reading Makes Me Sleepy, and I read at the pace of a snail. We've got Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. And actually, this is a book that I had planned for us to read. We were gonna have a little series where we read some of my favorite books.
We're not very good at buddy reading.
Yeah, we're not very good at buddy reading. Like, nothing came of it. But it's good to know that at least I know you. I know that this is something
that I would go for.
That you would enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How would you rank these books? Have you read any of these? Let me know down in the comments. Let's compare rankings. That's it to this week's video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did. My name is Elle. I'm sorry for making you read that much. And I'll see you in next time's video.
Potatoes gonna potato.